Hello and welcome to the What Gets You Cooking podcast, where we dive into how to connect with yourself and others in all the seasons of your life. I'm Virginie, your host, and every month I'll deliver new insight on how to simplify your life and enjoy it more. I want this podcast to help you find what gets you cooking, what inspires you, and I want to help you discover how to live your life with more intent. Hello and welcome to episode 26 of What Gets You Cooking. Thank you for listening today, and I want to tell you that I'm going to talk about the seasons of our life and how to feel great in each of them. I'm going to give you some tools today. As I was thinking about what to talk to you about this month of March, I wanted to combine kind of two topics. The first one was spring, and the second was women, because March 8 is International Women's Day, and I like to celebrate women in any way I can for the whole month. I thought we could talk about the seasons of our lives. Some of us may share some specific experience we had in a specific season. For instance, motherhood, teenage years, menopause, or whenever we feel weaker or sick, or even an end-of-life season. And I want to say that in whatever season you are right now, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And there is no point in fighting it or wishing you could go back to another season of your life. You are what you are, and change is inevitable. So to talk about acceptance of our season of life, I wanted to reflect and to offer you something to ask yourself. How do you feel about taking a break? Is your mind immediately feeling like, oh, that would be lazy, I should be able to do it all, I should be able to accomplish more? Do you compare yourself to others, or even feel like you're less than others? Feel like you don't even have that many hurdles as someone you know, therefore you should be doing more, or you should be feeling better? Or do you feel like you can listen to your body or your brain and what it's telling you when it's telling you that you need a break? Just try to pause and feel that for a second. Now, you might be wondering, how does all of this relate to life coaching? Well, in the coaching I offer, I want to look at your thoughts with you, see where they're bringing you, and the results that they are giving to you. What I do with you is take the time to really pause and observe what's going on with you, in your brain especially. Like, what are your thoughts, what's happening, and where it's leading you. It's not really like a meditation, but it's almost like a mindful way of decision making. And by the way, I can't recommend enough that you also use those tools of mindfulness and meditation in your daily lives to support yourself. And I want to give you a couple of ideas if you're feeling like you can't sit still in silence. And I want to tell you, you don't have to. For example, a few other ways that I like or I know people use to meditate is singing, cooking, walking, observing nature, dancing, playing an instrument, or painting, just to name a few. So I'll close my parenthesis here because I also want to say that silence and stillness really bring you to a different state that can be very beneficial. But I also know that a lot of people find it difficult to get started with that practice, and I want to say that it doesn't have to be only one specific way. You can use that pause button almost, and think of it in a way that's working for you. Now, closing that parenthesis, and back to coaching and the seasons of your life and how you can take a break. So I feel like a lot of us are struggling with trusting ourselves to know when we need a break and if we really have a good enough reason to take it. And by taking a break, I mean it can only be a few seconds to take a few breaths. And I wanted to offer that if you don't ever pause to think of the bigger picture, you may just be like the hamster on its wheel and trying to give it your all, but you may also lose the perspective of the long-term goal that you really want to achieve and that matters to you along the way. And that's really what I value most and what I find the true power of the pose is for me. I also know that athletes and actors especially use a short pose before starting their performance too. It's almost like a very short visualization where you can take a deep breath before performing. Whatever you're like, if you're thinking of your work, for instance, and presenting to your team or presenting to a client, it's very beneficial to just take a moment before you go in, taking a breath and visualize what you would like the outcome to be. You can think of that, the best result that you would like to get out of the situation. You can also use that when you transition. For example, when you go home on your way from work or from your bedroom to your living room if you're still working from home, just use those few seconds to transition and tell yourself, focus on what is coming up for you. What is next and how do you want to show up? What would be the best result that you could envision? How can you be more present with yourself, your family, your friends, or at work? And with that, I would like to wrap up with a quote from the Wisdom Desk cards that's about impermanence. Everything is impermanent. People, animals, insects all grow, change, die. Cultivate a clear, strong feeling of the ever-changing nature of all things. Bring stillness to the mind. Contemplate the impermanence of all people, places, things, even this life. Nothing is permanent. Whatever is beautiful and pleasing will change and eventually disappear. In the same way, whatever is unpleasant or disturbing is not forever. It will change too. There is no lasting happiness by grasping to things that change. Allow the mind to expand and develop an acceptance for impermanence. I wish you all a very beautiful day, night, or whatever moment of the day it is where you listen. And feel free to email me if you have questions or comment in the Facebook group at What Gets You Cooking. And let me know how this goes. Those short breaks, long breaks, how you used it, if you find it easy or difficult, let me know. Thank you. Bye and see you next month. Thank you so much for listening today. Now I would like to invite you to go to whatgetsyoucooking.com/contact and book a free 30-minute coaching session with me. As part of my training, I'm offering 5 free sessions, so you can go ahead, book your spot, whatgetsyoucooking.com/contact and click on the link in the blue box to book your session. I'll be happy to coach you and I'll talk to you next month. Bye, friends.